Hello.
Timmy, you there, buddy?
Yeah, can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you perfect, man. What's going on? I got to give you the proper introduction here.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know, Timmy Locastro, outfielder for the Arizona Diamondbacks, New York native. Thanks for joining Maddie and I on the show. We got another special guest, your buddy Frankie Salerno. So, first of all,
see.
I brought Frankie on here. I wanted him to talk about how good a teammate you are in the NYCBL. So, go ahead, Frankie. Take it away, buddy.
Oh, boy.
Can you see me, Timmy?
Okay to hear?
Oh, my God.
Okay to hear on the air?
We'll keep it PG.
Let's keep it PG here.
PG.
I'll keep it PG. Oh, my God. Yeah. So, Timmy, how you doing, man? I haven't seen you in so
Good.
long.
How you doing? I haven't seen you in forever.
I know. It's probably been since 2012, right? Probably since
Yeah.
August since we left.
Yeah, definitely. I miss you,
Yeah.
guy. I miss you, man.
I know, man. You look
Man.
good. Look at that. Look at that
Man,
hair.
you
Jeez. Look at this.
I know.
Come on.
I grew it out. We both grew our hair out a little in the last 5-6 years.
I got some grays, though. I'm stressed. You got the good life. You don't have any grays.
It's hard getting a haircut out here right now with all the stuff going on.
I know. Where are you? Are you in Scottsdale?
Yeah, I'm in Central Scottsdale right now. So
Nice. Good
I
for you.
got a spot
All
out
right,
here.
enough with the bromance
Hey.
here.
All right.
Stories.
We
Let's
gotta
get the
catch up.
stories here.
It's a little
All right.
warmer out here than back in New York. I can tell you that
Don't-
much.
Oh, Jesus. Don't rub it in, Timmy.
45 and rainy.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yes. All right. Let's get down to business. Obviously,
Yeah.
Timmy and I played in 2012 in the NYCBL for the Syracuse Junior Chiefs. And that summer was one to remember. We ended up winning the
Oh,
championship.
100%.
I believe we had the most wins of any team
Yeah.
in NYCBL history. We were an offensive powerhouse. We had 4 or 5 starters that just threw gems every time they went out. And we were mostly – the good thing was that I liked it was, there was a handful of D1s, but there was a majority of D2 and D3s. And, Timmy's a D3 guy. So that for all you guys out there think that, you didn't go D1 so you don't have a shot, look at him down there.
I mean, I had to prove myself to you guys.
No, come on. Come on. No, that was a good time. And, Timmy was a great teammate to play for and actually taught me a lot, because one thing that I took from Timmy's game was Timmy, he could go 3 for 3 with 3 home runs, or if he had his one of whatever 52 games we played there, his one off game that whole season where, he didn't perform or maybe had a couple Ks, that kid's demeanor did not change one bit. Not one bit. If he made an error, not one bit. I flew out to the wall. I'd be, cursing up and down. Timmy could have K'd 3 times in the game, which never happened. But his demeanor never changed. And I think that's one thing that I tried to, put into my game for my senior year. Because that was one thing that I admired about you. It did not matter the situation. Your emotions were just level at all game. Every inning. That's what I liked about playing with you.
I probably owe that to my dad. He was always the one, no matter what you do, 0 for 4, 4 for 4. There's baseball tomorrow. Baseball's a game that's every single day. And he taught me that. I'm talking from even Pony League and Little League. But same thing about that summer. I think the coolest thing about that summer was from day one, none of us guys have ever played with each other. I just literally felt like the chemistry was through the roof. Like, the first weekend before games, we were hanging out with each other. We'd never met each other before. I think that's one of the biggest things for baseball and team-wise, being successful, is getting that bond together early and just carrying it throughout the year, because then once you start winning, that's when it's really fun. When you got the chemistry of being friends with people and winning, that's when it's just sick, bro.
I mean, just look at this right now. You haven't probably seen Frank since then. You guys are like, man, it's like did we just become best friends again? It's like stepbrothers right now.
Exactly. I think that's cool. I think that's in all of baseball, though. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Just a special bond.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll see buddies that I played with in Little League, and you see them, and you're like, hey, remember that time? I mean, you just don't lose that bond and that friendship. So that's awesome. Cool. What I gotta know, man, both of you guys could flat out fly. Frankie, listen, I don't want to brag too, but Frankie could steal little bases back in his day. Listen, he works in corporate now, so he's a little rusty. He's got spider webs on his legs. But who was the faster guy in NYCBL? That's what I want to know.
I honestly think you were at that time.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, we didn't race, but we were obviously both, the the two fastest on the team. And once we got on the bases, it was like clockwork.
Yeah.
If we got on first base with less than 2 outs, you blink twice, we were scoring.
So you guys would be Murata. So if Murata's on the mound, that's probably Murata's nightmare, seeing Timmy Locastro, Frank Salerno on first base.
Oh, no doubt, Matty, no doubt.
I think that's one of the cool things about our team, though, back then. It's like it also was a competition within the team. If you stole a base, I wanted to go steal a base after you. Or if I stole a base, you wanted to go steal too. It was the same thing. It's so cool.
And what was good?
And it probably made you guys better too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You got it, Timmy.
That like 2011 when I was at Ithaca and 2012 when I was at Ithaca, I didn't steal that much. I think my first year I was like 7 to 12, 7 to 13. My next year I might have stole like 10 or 11. And then after that summer going into 2013 season, I was 40 to 41. And
trust me, Timmy. I checked your stat line, buddy, and I was like, this guy just went from like human to the Terminator by his like last year, because you got drilled 27 times as well.
OBP, get on base.
I think you got drilled 27 times in a game in Syracuse.
Yeah, that started in high school, where whatever it takes to get on base. My high school coach went to Ithaca College, and I think he just brought it down from when he played. And it was like, if you can get on base, whether you get hit by a pitch, you get a single, or you get an error, you're a base runner now. Who cares what happened? Go score a run. The name of the game is scoring more runs than the other team. As simple as that sounds. So once you're on base, go score. Just go score.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Now, I got a question.
Okay.
How many times did it take getting smoked to be like, I got to put an elbow guard on before my left elbow shatters?
You didn't wear one in 2012, right?
No, I didn't wear one. I didn't wear one until 2014 when I was playing in Vancouver. I got hit 30-something times in 60 games. That was probably the most impressive run I've had. And I was on the West Coast up in Vancouver, 3-hour time difference, and my parents listened back home. Every time I got hit by a pitch was every other day, literally, based on the numbers. My mom would call me, are you okay? Are you okay? Will you please wear an elbow guard? Will you please wear armor? And I was like, no. Because in college, me and my buddy, Colby G., who we played baseball with, he was the same way. He's like, don't wear an elbow guard. You can't look defeated by wearing armor up there. And then I got to the point when guys are throwing 99 and 100, I'm like, bro, I got to put something on.
Oh, my God. Listen, I know Salerno, Murata. These guys rack up a lot of awards. They're studs. Now, I got a question. You could probably save all these hit by pitch balls and make a pretty cool thing out of it. There'd probably be thousands after your career's over. You tell your son, you see all those balls up there? He'd be like, are those game ball dads? Be like, no, those are the balls I got drilled with every time I play this game.
Yeah, I think the coolest sort of hit by pitch thing that I've had happened last year, where I got hit 3 times in a game in AAA, which 3 times in a game's a ton. The next day I got called up to the big leagues and we were in San Francisco, and I got hit 3 times again. So I had 8 at-bats, and I got hit 6 times in the 8 at-bats in 2 different leagues.
Jesus Christ. You know what the funny part is? Like, guys get drilled, they get pissed, and they charge. I feel like you get hit, and you just seem like the chillest guy. You're like, all right, man, I'll take it.
No, I get an adrenaline rush out of it. I'm like, sick. Now I'm going to go steal second.
Put me on first. It's the biggest mistake.
Yeah.
I could just see Timmy when the game's over in the ice tub with a cigar, like, oh, God, I need this. Like this is tough.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I was going to save this question for a little bit later, but since Frank's here and he brought it to my attention on Instagram, I got to say it. I don't know if you saw D. Gordon call out and say he's the fastest guy in the league. I mean, we gotta fix that ASAP.
You know the old adage is the best bet's to bet on yourself, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
We need to get the belt. I think you need to get the belt out. We need some more excitement in the MLB. I think you need to –
I would bet on myself, and I know a lot of my teammates would take me too. But
that's awesome.
First to home, I'm taking me.
I love it. And I was doing my homework on you last night. My wife's like, what are you doing? You want to watch a movie? I'm like, listen, I got Timmy Locastro highlights right now. Like, leave me alone. I'm in the zone. So I was watching the highlight reel, and again, I learned 2 things. That you're an animal. You just wear pitches like it's your job. And number 2, man, watching you in the outfield, you have no fear of going into the walls.
Yeah.
Now, thank God this isn't like Ithaca, because I'm sure they didn't have a nice padded wall out there. And thank God
they had the chain link fences.
Jeez, I could go on all day about a chain link fence, but now I got a question. Did you have a favorite player growing up that toughness you liked? Or like you said, is that your dad that was like, you're going to play it this way? Or did you have that guy that you watch? Like, I love Chase Utley, and like, you remind me of two guys. You remind me of Utley staying in the pocket, and in the outfield, you remind me of Eric Burns, man, because he was like that human crash dummy. So like, I was like, that's Timmy, man.
Yeah, well, growing up, I was a diehard Yankee fan, late 90s, early 2000s. Like, they were my number one team in all the sports. I loved them, and they were winning championships, so it was just a sick run. And Paul O'Neill was actually my favorite player growing up, and one of the reasons I loved him was
the Warrior.
The Warrior, exactly. That was his nickname that George Steinbrenner gave him, and I feel like if George Steinbrenner was giving you that nickname, you work your tail off, and you're a hard-nosed player, and I just always loved the way how he played.
That's awesome. You know what, Frankie? Since you're here, man, you might as well stay on and enjoy this right now. Since it's for the kids. I mean, listen, we could do this all day, right? I started this Fungo talk. I was like, listen, I'm going to go nuts if I just stay in the house and do nothing. I got 2 kids, by the way. So, like, this gets me out of, like, diaper duty and stuff like that.
That's perfect.
So I was like, you know what? This is perfect. It's for the kids, and to be honest, when you come to New York, we'll have Frankie take us out to dinner since he's got the big wallet with the corporate job.
Yeah, 100%.
So, all right, first question. How did you get so fast, and is there specific workouts you do to improve on your speed?
I think, like I said, I didn't really know my speed until probably that 2012, 2013 range where I started stealing a little more, and I would say stealing more bases has almost everything to do with confidence. If you don't have the speed, you can go steal 30 bases. It's learning pitchers, learning how they tip pitches, learning if catchers are dropping to one knee. I think there's a lot of stuff that people don't realize, that you don't have to be the fastest guy to steal bases. And workout-wise, I mean, Frankie knows I've always been a guy that likes to work out. He likes to work out. It's just how we are. I mean, I got a trainer back home that I played high school baseball with. He's been my trainer ever since I got in the pro ball. And if it's not broke, why try to fix it? He's been great with me, and I'm just going to continue to work with whatever he gives me. A lot of weightlifting. I've been getting into more like distant running and like hills and sand running. Like today, I had a sand workout. So stuff like that. Yeah, I use that to my advantage. I do like steel breaks in the sand, and when I was back home, actually, I would do it in the snow. So whatever the elements are, you got to use it.
That's awesome,
Maddie. I don't want to cut you off. I got a question though for Timmy, and this is I feel like there's so many answers depending on how you're taught.
Yeah,
you're on first base. You got your lead.
Yep.
What are you looking at to, I guess, trigger if you're going to go back to first or if you're going to steal second? People say the right hip. You have the back foot. You have the back knee. There's so many different things. I guess it depends on the level a little bit.
100%.
But also, at your level, at the MLB level, the highest level, what do you taught or what do you look at? Some advice, to the kids who are based on.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Here's the thing. In college and the lower levels, I'd say my first year, Tim Raines, he was my base running coach. One of the best to ever do it. I used to use my athleticism and speed to steal bases in college and early levels. And Raines was the one that sort of started to teach me that you got to look at stuff on the pitchers when you get up to the higher levels. So then I got traded to the Dodgers, and T-Brock, he was one of our base running coordinators. And that's when he started really honing in on tipping pitches and stuff. So, like, I always knew about how pitchers tip and stuff because of those guys telling me, but I never, really took advantage of it until when I first got called up to the big leagues in 2017, which is when, people study pitchers for hitting. I was studying pitchers just for base running. So now at this point in my career, I know that, different pitchers have different tips. So of your question of what do I look at, I think it changes depending on who the pitcher is. If it's a starter, if it's a reliever, I sort of understand that starters want to hold you on a little more compared to relievers who, once they get in the game, they're focusing on the batter. So I don't think there's one thing that you can actually look for. But for me, I think the biggest thing is confidence and use your athleticism. Don't 100% look for an exact tip. but use your athleticism and your confidence to steal a base.
That's awesome.
That makes a lot of sense because, some people have that balk move where they kind of twitch their back, like Ken Frawley had it, of all people.
Jesus. You're giving Kenny Frawley a shout-out on this. Love you, Frawl.
Frawley. So, he used to twitch his back knee. And listen, if we were inter-squatting, I would go back probably 80% of the time. And while I'm going back, he's throwing home and,
Yeah.
I guess that kind of shows
that. That's a great question, too.
But at the same time, some pitchers have something that's so obvious that you have to use it to your advantage. But I think if you're looking at, like, the back leg of every pitcher, a lot of pitchers are different. So you could lose some athleticism when you're staring at one thing if they have something else. So I think studying the pitchers before games or before series is huge. Like, for me, before every single series, I have a list of all the starters we're going to face and all the relievers. And I go in there and I write stuff down. And our first base coach, Dave McKay, probably the best in the business. He writes down their times. He gives his cues. But for me, I don't like having somebody else only their information. I like to see it myself to go off myself and his stuff. And you sort of combine them, and I think that's the best of both worlds.
So there's a ton of attention to detail that goes into this stuff.
It's wild stuff that I.
And we were just talking. We had the Fairleigh Dickinson coach on yesterday. This Rob DeToma, he's our buddy, and I mean, he spoke at the ABCA convention, and he was talking about how they get out the measuring stick sometimes, and they're like, "We need to get to here to this point." Is that something that you guys do at the next level as well? You're like, "I need to get this far out to get the best chance."
You work on it a little bit. I worked on that a lot actually in college, where our coach would have us getting as big of lead as possible to where we can get back. And you're doing like full dives back. And you're like, wow, I got another foot. I got another 2 feet. So I think that definitely helps to get how comfortable you want to be in the bigger lead, because the biggest lead helps so much, that 1-2 feet from being safe and out.
Yeah, definitely. And I got to throw one to Maddie as a pitcher, being the only pitcher in here. When someone almost – can you feel when someone starts to get that timing on you? Like, how Timmy was talking about the pitcher starts tipping stuff. Like, as a former guy, like, what's your mindset on that?
For me, I think it's a big part of the game. I mean, what I used to do in starts is, usually the coach will have the stopwatch out first, second inning. So if I give up a hit in the first 2 innings, I'd try and be super fast. It might be a 1 or a 1-1. Where they're like, all right, we're basically going to shut things down. I was a converted shortstop, so I never really minded slide stepping. So, if I was going to go through like a lineup, I would kind of say, all right, hey, these are the 2 guys that can run. And, I'd kind of go more slide step for them. But, I mean, it just takes you out of everything you want to do. If I want to throw a slider in a spot and, I know he's on first or Frank's on first, I'm going to think twice about throwing that pitch. And I'll probably go to more of a fastball, which, you want for your batter anyway. So, I mean, it makes things harder than it should. And, I agree with Timmy about, that reliever mode. A lot of these guys are more, okay, hey, I'm going to focus on the batter, versus the base runner. So I think it can change a lot of things that a pitcher wants to do and at least get him out of his rhythm, and make him think.
Awesome. That's awesome. And since I got you talking about from shortstop to pitcher, Timmy, you were a shortstop in college, and it goes on to the next question. Was it difficult to make the change from shortstop to outfielder, and why did you have to make that change?
I couldn't really throw from the infield, if I'm being honest with you guys. I mean, I got drafted and went right to second base. And then when I was traded over to the Dodgers, I went back to shortstop. And, I mean, I was a little inaccurate with my throwing. But last year was actually the first year that I only played outfield. But for me personally, I'm more comfortable in the outfield. And I feel like I can use my speed a lot more in the outfield than in the infield. And I was saying earlier, being comfortable in the outfield is just so much better than if I'm in the infield stressed out, nervous, and it's a better fit for me and my personality of fast twitch and always on the go.
I'll tell you what, you look more natural in the outfield.
100%. I feel more natural.
B, though, I did watch that minor league highlight of you making that diving play at shortstop, and I was like, dude, this guy's an animal.
I could pull off some plays in the infield, but it was like the routine plays were just like a nightmare to me.
Now, what was your arm slot from shortstop? Were you like an up top? Were you a sidearm guy?
I tried every single arm slot that you can try from shortstop.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure things out and never really could. I mean, emergency situation, if you needed me to go to the infield, I could attempt it and give you 100% effort, but I trust myself in the outfield a lot more.
Timmy, in Syracuse, you played third, right?
Yeah, that was my first time ever playing third because Sanchez was at short, right?
Yeah, Alex Sanchez was at short.
He was hitting like 522 at the time, just locked in.
He was a switch hitter. He hit 440 that summer, and he's hitting both ways.
The season at 440. Yeah.
Jesus.
But that's another thing.
All right, we're gonna save memory lane for Applebee's, and
yeah.
The next question. This is a good one too. What's the best part about playing in the big leagues? And do you have a favorite drill you'd like to do in the cage or for the games?
Best part about the big leagues is going into the locker room every day with guys that are your friends, and then being able to go out to the field and compete and trying to win a game and eventually win the World Series. I think that's so cool. You're at the field from 11:30 noon until 11 o'clock at night, 12, 13-hour days. I mean, when you get your friends and the combination of your friends and going out competing together, that's just awesome. And what was question 2?
Question 2 is, what was your favorite drill in the cage?
That's another thing. Like growing up, and I'd say even probably up until last year, I was a guy that would get in the cage, get loose. I was never a big drill guy. I did it to get loose, and then I would do my work on overhand BP. But this past year, I've been working on the step back drill just to get started a little sooner, and I've fallen in love with it. There's been games where I've done step back in games, and it just helps me get into my legs a little more so I'm not as handsy up top.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And for those kids who don't know too much about the step back drill, can you kind of like show us a little bit what you mean?
Yeah, like so you're just getting your regular stance like you're about to hit. And my problem was sort of that I would get too much stagnant and statuey, and I would never get anything going back. So the step back just when your right foot, if you're ready, you take a small step back, or you can just pick your foot up and march. It just gets you started sooner and gets you on your backside so that you can deliver it forward.
Gets a little rhythm going.
Exactly.
Frank, were you a step back guy?
No, I was
not guy. You just pump the iron.
He was a pure hitter. Pure hitter.
That was one thing that I think is the reason why Timmy is so successful and why I think that he's going to have a lengthy career in the bigs is Timmy. It was everything is so he wasn't trying to do a huge leg kick. He wasn't trying to cock back and hit a bomb. Everything's so simple.
Yeah.
Like everything he does, it could be the most complex part of baseball. He goes back to the basics, like walking. Like he simplifies everything to make it as easy as that. And I think that, a lot of younger kids, when the game gets a little more complex, they start to get overwhelmed and it affects them negatively and it may affect their performance when at the end of the day, it's a game. We all learned from the basics. We all learned how to walk. Yeah. We all learned to walk and talk. And that's how Timmy kind of, I felt like, took an approach to the game. Everything he did was just so simple. It was no, Gary Sheffield, no dance in the box. He was just like this. Like he even said, he got a little stagnant. That's because he was just so simple.
Yeah, 100%. I think the thing, too, with baseball nowadays, like you hear a launch angle. You see guys like Cody Bellinger and Mike Trout hitting balls all the time. Young kids have to realize that these guys are freak athletes, like once in a generation, once in a lifetime type players. And that launch angle and the high leg kick, Justin Turner, high leg kick. Ketel Marte, high leg kick. That does not work for everybody, and it probably won't work for you all the time. You have to find what works for you and build off that.
I was just going to bring up Marte.
I couldn't agree more. With that.
Last year watching him hit was ridiculous. Just like something I've never seen before. So locked in. Every at bat of every game for 162 games. Never seen anything like it.
He's just raw. He's so strong.
Yeah.
Is he a big guy? He's not a big guy, is he?
No, he's not that big. I mean, I never knew him before last year personally, but people told me that he gained weight and he had a little swing transformation where he went from sort of a slap hitter to now just a pure power hitter. And, I mean, I don't think anybody can argue he's one of the best hitters in baseball by far.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast.
From both sides of the plate, too, which is even more impressive.
Yeah. What about you, Murad? Well, people don't know, Matty went from, like, shortstop to pitcher, and then he also played some college outfield and shortstop. And, I mean, hey, you're an all-conference guy, too. I mean, did you have something pre-game you like to work on in the cage?
I mean, as far as hitting, I kind of feel the same way. It was just, for me to kind of feel my body. And, for me, I like to early on just stay inside the ball. If I could be right center, majority of the game and pitchers are trying to get you out, with that money pitch down at the knees, especially in college. So I, had fast hands and, didn't really need to worry about too much in. So just make sure I had plate coverage, make sure I stayed inside the baseball. And then, after that, I would just see the ball.
Love it. Love it. Timmy, now you kind of bounced around. You were, and if I'm incorrect, you could correct me. You were what? Blue Jays, Dodgers, Yankees, and then D-backs, right?
Yeah, never played for the Yankees. It was just a trade in the offseason one year.
Stopped in New York to say hi to the fam, and then you were out to Arizona?
I didn't. I literally had no affiliation with the Yankees besides when they called me and told me that I was Yankee. And that was Thanksgiving Eve. And all my family, friends back home are diehard Yankee fans. So it was like they were all ecstatic. But at the same time, I knew the business part of baseball. And there's 40 men on a roster. And at the time, I was the 40th guy. So I knew that if they signed anybody else, and I knew the Yankees growing up, they signed a lot of free agents. They signed DJ LeMahieu in late January, and I got DFA'd and traded to the Diamondbacks. And looking back, it was one of the best things that happened to me in my entire career.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you see so many good players that are with the Yankees or with a program, right? Dodgers, and they're stacked, and you don't get that opportunity. So, that's awesome that the D-backs, and then you got a home now. So, next question. This is one of my favorites too, because kids love this. What's the best advice you ever received that helped take your game to the next level?
I honestly think what we were talking about earlier, no matter what, don't change your attitude if you're 0 for 4 or 4 for 4, because there's going to be baseball tomorrow. I mean, people get cut. I think sometimes I've seen players in the past where if they're 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, their game is over with. Their next 2 at-bats, 3 at-bats, they don't stand a chance. The guys that sort of stay level-headed, if they're 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, you can finish the game 2 for 4 easily. Every single at-bat has to be an at-bat in its own, a singular at-bat.
Now, from a pitcher's perspective, Matty, you see a guy, he strikes out his first at-bat, he's a little agitated. Next at-bat, bad at-bat pops up. He's, cursing at himself, throwing his equipment. The third at-bat's going to be a breeze. You're going to bury him.
Yeah.
If you're level-headed, like Timmy, say 0 for 2, a pop-out, he comes up, like it's the first at-bat of the game, like he's 0 for 0. And then the pitcher's like, all right, I kind of had this guy the first 2 at-bats, but, he looks like he's starting to get locked in, and he's got, still some confidence.
Right. No, everything like you're saying is so spot on. I mean, you could see it on their face, and when you see something like that as a pitcher, you want to get into attack mode. Don't let that guy reset or think, go right at him. So, I mean, Frank makes a great point. The pitcher can see it. The hitter can see it on the pitcher. Does he look scared? Does he look locked in? So, the mental part of this game, I think is huge. And I think that was a great point, Tim.
Yeah, I think that can even change in at bat. I mean, first pitch in the bat, you swing at a curveball that's in the dirt. You got two more strikes. Why give up after that pitch? Or even if an ump makes a bad call, why are you giving up on the at bat? You still got another strike. I mean, the bat's not over until it's over. It goes pitch by pitch, not even at bat by at bat. I didn't realize that.
I love this question. Yeah. I mean, I love the question. I love the answers. I mean, I'm invested in Little League a lot because that's who, that's in the business I'm in, developing the younger guys. And you see it all the time. Guys, they get so frustrated. They get so down. I mean, again, there's so much to this game, right? And it's such a long season, and it's a game of failure, right? So, I mean, you kind of just have to almost have fun with it and just keep working at it and stuff like that. Like, I think for you too, like for me, as I got older, I started to struggle and I put pressure. I look back and I was like, why do I play this game? And I was like, because I love it. I love to have fun. You got to play it like you're playing wiffle ball in the backyard and just love competing. And whatever happens, happens, right? I think so many guys, they put pressure. I got to do this. I got to do, So, again, that's why I almost like what Frankie was talking about. Your mindset of, I could go 3 for 3, 0 for 4. I'm having fun. And hey, man, we'll play tomorrow, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I think especially in baseball too, if you go 0 for 4 with 4 lineouts, the next day you could go 4 for 4 with 4 infield hits, and it's all going to even out. That's another thing that my dad told me. Everything in baseball evens out no matter what. It always evens out.
So true.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I'll tell this quick story. Again, it's not about me, but I only played 1 year indie ball, and I came off the bench. First game I ever played in the outfield, and I was nervous as hell. I was like, oh, my God, this is it. I finally get my chance. First ball, someone hits a line drive, squares me right in the chest. Totally missed it. And, I was like, I'm done. I'm going home. This is it. Crowds, booing the hell out of me. And, I'm like, it's all over. And I, called my parents. I'm like, I'm toast. I'm done. And my dad was like, listen, man. He's like, no one's perfect. Why are you here? Why are you doing this? And I was like, I love to play the game. And he's like, then go out there and just love playing the game. And ever since that, I almost had that I don't care what happens attitude. I'm just going to do it. And I think, again, if the takeaway that kids could have, like you said, just enjoy it, man, and have a good attitude about it. And It's a long season, ups and downs.
Definitely.
So what brings me to the next question. What's the best moment in your baseball career?
Ooh. Professionally or all time?
You can give me 2. You could give me a professional one and something else.
All time, I would say going to the D3 College World Series, just because with the team I was with, because that you come in with a group of people when you're a freshman, you're working your whole freshman year, your whole sophomore year, then you get to your junior year and you're starting to get a little publicity as a team, and you're like, this could be the year. And then we actually did it to go to the College World Series, and those guys aren't even – obviously they're teammates, but they're best friends that I still talk to this day. And like I was saying earlier, being able to do that with your best friends is amazing. It's unexplainable. Professionally, I would say obviously getting called up is an amazing moment, but I think my first home run in Yankee Stadium professionally was definitely the coolest thing. I blacked out when it happened. I don't really remember, but my family and friends that were there, they got to experience it. They were all there in person and at a stadium that I grew up going to. I mean, me personally, I was more happy for I was more happy for my family and friends. And after the game, I was able to see my parents and my girlfriend, and I gave my dad the scorecard and the first home run ball. So it was pretty cool.
Timmy, who was it off of?
Oh, Nestor,
who was it off of? Nestor Cortez changed up and away. He hung it.
Yep, I remember that.
The thing about that was we were down in the game, and I think I was first or second in the inning, so it brought us to within 2. So round the base when I got in there, I couldn't really be pumped up and excited. We were still down 2, but we ended up bringing the tying run to the plate, and they brought in Chapman, and he shut the door. But it was an unbelievable experience.
That's awesome, man. And I saw on the 2019 highlight reel on YouTube too, the walk-offs. I mean, you got to love that too. And on an infield hit walk-off as well with 2 outs.
Yep.
Yeah, I had 3 last year, and everyone had different meanings behind it. The first one was against the Mets, and I'd been up and down to start the year, and that was the moment where I was like, okay, maybe I belong here. And then the second one was against the Giants, and that was in, I think, the end of June. And that was the one where I was like, okay, I belong here now. I feel comfortable with this team. I know all the players. I know all the coaches. That was my moment. Welcome to the sort of Diamondbacks. And then the last game of the year, I wanted to use that to sort of catapult into this year. I mean, to end obviously the goal is to make the playoffs and win the World Series, but we were out of it. To win that last game and then go into the offseason, not only for me, but as the team, I felt like that was a good stepping stone for this upcoming year. And hopefully we build off once this season gets started.
Well, you heard it here. I'm going to say it right now. I give it 3 years, or between that, we're going to see Locastro on All-Star team. I guarantee it.
You heard
it here first.
Now, again, all right, so Frankie and Murata here. I got to ask both of you guys as well. What's your best moment in your baseball career?
I mean, Frank, you want to start?
You got it.
Best moment. This is tough. We had a lot of good moments, didn't we? I guess the one moment I kind of go to and use with more of my players is, I had my worst day and my best day in the same doubleheader. What I mean by that is, I was a guy that was competitive, didn't like to strike out, and, it was DH in game one. I think we're playing like a Delphi. And we're facing Dylan McNamara, who ended up getting drafted. And I remember Stanley Suzanne before BP is like, you got to use this hitting jack. It's awesome. So I put it on. I'm starting to swing BP. I'm like, this is awesome. My bat speed feels incredible. I punched out 3 times in game one. And that was the first time I had struck out 3 times since I was 10. I remember sitting on the bench, having 20 minutes, and I was the starting pitcher. I warmed up and, just kind of changed my mindset. And I think, everything you guys are saying, everything we're saying to the kids, is big where, I ended up throwing a no-hitter in game 2. And I think it was very easy, for me to check
That's
out.
Awesome.
And thanks to Frank, obviously. I'm sure he bailed me out a few times.
Maddie, I have to cut you off. Timmy.
Yo.
I was going to bring this up. My favorite moment of Matt's career was in that game, in warm-ups, in the first inning, he bounced a slider or a cutter, and they said, hit the cut. You remember that? They yelled, hit the cut. Matt got the ball back from the catcher, looked and laughed. No hitter right after that. It was game over when they said that.
That's what did it.
Yep.
That's what did. Baseball's such a roller coaster. I mean, it'll humble you. Baseball will humble you, and then I think that makes it sweeter for you. Your first game, you don't play well, and then you come back and you throw a no-hitter. That makes it sick, bro.
That's absurd.
That's sick.
That's absurd. Frankie, did you go? Did you tell your favorite story?
No, I didn't, but I could say, when I got called up to indie ball, but I'm not even going to, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go in 2013, my senior year at Stack, at St. Thomas Aquinas, when, Stack was always a top-tier team in the conference. We won the conference won the regular season a ton of times. Never had a conference championship at Stack. And then my senior year, I was a captain along with Nick Barbalato, who was our center fielder and 2-hitter. And, we basically crushed it and breezed through the whole regular season, won the regular season, had the best record. And then in the playoffs, lost game 1 to Bridgeport. Lost game 1, and everyone counted us out. Everyone was like, all right, Bridgeport, they're the team to beat. And we had a breeze. Obviously, it's double elimination. We had a breeze through, the next 4 games, and we won game 2. We won game 3. Then we had to win 2 games against Bridgeport because they cruised right through the playoffs, and we ended up beating them twice for the first East Coast Conference Championship. And holding that trophy, awesome. Oh my gosh!
Your senior year too. How sick was that?
And what was so nice about it was my freshman year, and they could talk about it. My freshman year was horrible. I hit 171. I had a bad attitude. I wasn't prepared, and when we went to the playoffs, I blew my back out against Mercy the series before the playoffs, so I couldn't even play. So I went from, probably the worst baseball season of my life, my freshman year, and getting hurt before the playoffs, to, having a great season, being an all-conference, all-American my senior year, and winning that conference championship. It's like,
That's a great story to tell the kids, man, when you start popping them out.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well,
I got 3 legends here that I'm talking to. This is all, and I got nothing to prove for it, but hey, it's okay. When you're surrounded by greatness, that's what it's all about. Timmy, I got one more question, and then we got a little special thing that Murata likes to do at the end.
Okay.
This is a good one, too, that I like, because this is like a big hype. And Frankie talked about in the beginning. Why did you choose to play at Ithaca College? And what do you say to the kids who think Division I is the only way to go to really make it to that next level?
Yeah, I mean, coming out of high school, like I said, my high school coach, he went to Ithaca. I went to a bunch of Ithaca camps as a young kid. I'm talking like grade school and middle school. And come junior year, no offers. Senior year, I went up to SUNY Oswego, and that was really the only other offer besides Ithaca. I applied to Cortland, which is another D3 school. Do you guys know Cortland? I think they're usually pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
And they're Ithaca's rival, and I didn't even get into the school. They didn't even let me in.
Oh, jeez.
I applied to Lemoyne, which was like 30 minutes from me, which was, I think it was D1 at the time. They're D2 now. They told me I could come and try out and try to be a walk-on. Like, I don't want to do that. And then at Ithaca, Coach Valicente, who was coaching there for 40 years, he wanted me to come in and told me that I could compete for a job right away. And as soon as I heard that, I mean, I'm going to take my chances. I want to play right away. I don't want to have to sit out. And to your next question, I think that was one of the biggest things for me. I didn't want to go sit somewhere for 2 years and then only play 2 years. I wanted to go somewhere, play right away, and give myself a chance. And D3, I think there's rules where you can't practice as much as D1. And I had a social life. I could do school. I could play baseball. I could do everything I wanted to. And I think the resources you surround yourself with will get you to where you need to be if you belong there.
Jeez, you just gave me the chills, man.
That was great.
If any kid that's listening, exactly, don't fall into the hype. Go somewhere where you could have an impact. I mean, so many guys are like, I need to be D1. I need to be this. I mean, I'm looking at three guys, but Murata also and Frankie. I mean, these are all you guys could have played D1, and you went somewhere and had an impact. I think that's what it's all about, because that's what's going to get you to the next level. Not going somewhere and not having a role and not knowing, hey, coach, where am I going to get my shot? Hey, I don't know. So
I think you got to surround yourself with the right people too. You know what I mean? What fits for you, not where do you actually want to go. Like, do you want to go to a huge D1 school like LSU and never play for 4 years? But hey, you went D1 to LSU. I'd rather go to a D3 school, play every day, and give yourself a shot. Bet on yourself.
I love it. I love that. And did you meet your girlfriend at Ithaca?
No, she's my neighbor from home. We dated in high school.
The movie The Girl Next Door, starring Timmy Locastro.
She literally was the girl next door.
High school sweetheart, huh?
Yeah, we dated in high school and college, broke up for a little while, and then got back together back in 2017, and we're going strong. So
listen, that's how the saying says: if you love her, you let her go, and you see if she comes back, right?
Yeah, so it worked, and I'm happy. She's happy. I hope.
I love it. Oh man, I'm telling you, we could do this all day. But when you come to New York, we all got to get together. You know what? Forget Applebee's. Salerno's taking us to like Ruth Chris Steakhouse or something. The ante just went up.
I'm in.
Oh my gosh! All right. I'll start saving up now.
And if it's summertime, we'll get a little. Since there's four of us, we'll get a little can jam going on to get a little competitive juices going again.
Oh, get the competitive juices flowing.
All right, Murata's been waiting for this all day. He's foaming at the mouth. We got the Murata Moneyball question. Go ahead, Maddie.
Yeah, Timmy, I mean, what advice do you think you can give minor leaguers that maybe, just getting in the system, starting out at, low A and, really looking at that uphill climb? Is there something that, for you, it was more, I know I'm going to make it there. I just have to put everything into it. Because it's very easy, obviously, with the bus trips. The lack of money, you start a family, it's, it gets challenging. So, what advice would you give those guys, who are kind of starting that road?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's a grind. Everybody knows it's a grind. But my attitude was always, I have to prove myself and everything else will fall into place. I never knew when I first got drafted I was going to be a big league player. It was always my goal, obviously. But I think that just playing the game, once you get in between the lines, it'll take care of itself, and playing hard and giving 100% effort. I think if you're a guy, I see so many first rounders that don't work hard. No one specific. I'm just saying in general. I see so many first rounders, high round picks that don't work hard and just expect things to be given to them. And then you see other guys that are taken in the 30th round and more that work their tail off. And next thing you know, they're in the big leagues and you're sitting there. You're like, they deserved it. They should be there. But another thing is you're never that far away. You're an injury here, an injury there, and then you're at the next level. and then you're an injury away from the next level. And if you prove yourself and you play well, you're going to keep going up. And it's a grind, but you just got to keep climbing the ladder. There's no shortcuts. Climb the ladder, work hard, and give 100% effort, and things will take care of itself, I think, if you do that.
Love it.
Right.
Love it.
And for the non-serious question, Timmy, you look like a superstition guy. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but is there any weird quirks or superstitions that you have? If so, what are they?
I mean, I don't want to say anything like specifically that I do, but if I eat 4 eggs and 4 sausage links one day and I go 4 for 4, you better expect I'm doing that tomorrow. Yep. If I eat a hamburger before a game and go 2 for 4 with a home run, I'm eating a hamburger tomorrow. But nothing like specific, but I'm definitely got some superstition stuff like that.
I'm sure
that's awesome.
I have a quick question, Timmy.
Yeah.
When was the last time you wore batting gloves in a baseball game?
I would say freshman year of college would be the last.
What made you
time.
do that? What made you? Because I remember when we played together, you never put on a pair. You didn't even have a pair of batting gloves in your bag.
Yeah, no, I never wore batting gloves. I remember in college, me and another teammate, we weren't wearing batting gloves, and it goes back to superstitions. We kept getting hits, so we were like, why would we ever switch when we're getting hits? And D3 is a 40-game season. We had a successful season. We were winning games, and we weren't changing anything. And I just got to the point where I've been successful without batting gloves. I'm not going to put them on now. So I just never gone batting gloves. I like the feel of the bat. I switch between lizard skin tape, but I never go just actual bat handle. But what I prefer the most is just people think I'm crazy, but just white athletic tape. And I get blisters and stuff on my hand when I first start hitting, but once the season gets going, I get the calluses and feels perfect in my hands.
I love that. What's so funny is there's probably kids out there like, hey man, he probably doesn't wear the batting gloves just because he wants to get a better feel or something when it's like superstition. Yeah, but you said, you definitely listen, after college, I was a no BGs guy and I thought it was better. I loved it.
Yeah, I just feel like if you do the batting gloves with lizard skin, it's just too thick. I like my handle being thin and just whipping it through the zone.
I love it. Now, I have to give out to my buddy, Drew Hedman, who's with the D-backs.
Love Drew.
He was coaching at Vandy. He was coaching at Vandy when I was coaching at Army. We've always kept in touch. And obviously, he's the better man because he's killing it right now. And I love Drew. Awesome. He's a good – is there any funny Drew stories?
Like I said earlier, we got to keep it PG. But
I would PG one.
No, I would just say I appreciate how he helps me with my work ethic and doing drills. Like he was the one that introduced me back to the step back drill to start getting stuff going. And he's so smart with analytics and all stuff like that, and giving us stuff on other pitchers and whatever reliever is going to come in the game in certain situation. It prepares you. It's basically like you have the answers to the test. And when you have the answers for the test in a Major League Baseball game, that helps out so much compared to going in there blind. And I appreciate him for that because I know he works his tail off.
And it was so funny when I was watching your 2019 highlight video. I knew Drew worked for the D-backs. I didn't know what or where he was. And I see the walk-off hit. Everyone's celebrating. You're getting jabs to the ribs, and you're going in the dugout. And I see Drew in the background jumping. I'm like, dude, that's Drew. So I reached out to him, and I was like, dude, I'm getting Locastro on an interview, and he's like, he's the man. I love him. So shout out to Drew, man.
We trade back some workouts during this quarantine time, so it's been going well.
I have one. Awesome. I have to ask this question.
Okay.
Hardest pitcher you faced?
Oof.
I get this question a lot, and you're going to be underwhelmed by the answer because I don't think there's one specific pitcher because everybody in the major leagues is extremely hard to hit. But I'd say the hardest situation to hit in is when you're pinch hitting, especially if it's off a guy that has a lot of pitches where you can't sit on one pitch. And if you've only got 2 pitches, you can sit on 1 pitch and hopefully you're going to get that at bat. The guy's got 4 pitches and you go in there blind as a pinch hitter. It's very difficult. But it just turns into you got to grind the at bat out and get on base any way you can. If I go out for a pinch hit and I get hit by a pitch, I'm the happiest guy in the ballpark. No doubt in my mind.
That's great. Matt, you got one more you want to ask before we shut it down?
Yeah, Timmy, I mean, just from the kid standpoint, I mean, you obviously talked a lot about work ethic. You know, I think a lot of these kids will see big leaguers and, you know, they see the end road, but they don't necessarily see, you know, what road kind of got them there. So, you know, it seems to me like your dad was a huge impact, you know, just like mine, you know, kind of teaching me that mentality. And, you know, what advice do you have for the kids, you know, during the process and, you know, during everything?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I worked for my dad who did construction, and he does like pavement and parking lots and driveways, and I was tamping edges, I was sealing driveways, I was doing asphalt all over in the summertime, and that absolutely sucked. And I knew that that's not what I ever wanted to do with my life. I mean, I appreciate how hard he works and what he does, but I knew that I wanted to play baseball, and that it taught me that if you don't work hard, that you could be doing construction every day for your whole life. And I wanted to play baseball, and no pun intended, but he paved the road for me to be able to go play baseball, especially in those times in the minor leagues when you're not making a lot of money. My mom and my dad, they supported me and they helped me out, and I wouldn't be where I am without my parents. But like you said, you can't lose sight of your end goal every single day. Like if you're in single A, if you're in college, if you're in the double A, the big leagues is not that far away if you're working hard, and you just need a chance. And once you get that chance, you got to relish and take advantage.
Great point.
Timmy, you're the man, dude. We don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm sure you got a place to learn on Fortnite after this and take him out. But
I'm all about Call of Duty right now. I'm on it.
Uh-oh. Again, we'll save your user for later. We'll give you a call later, buddy. Dude, You're the man for doing this. Again, we wish you nothing but success. So when you come to New York, I think Salerno said he's going to rock the Locastro and, definitely show the bromance. Are you going to wear the Chiefs hat too?
Chiefs.
Salerno's going to bring out the Chiefs hat.
Oh,
I still have that hat in my basement. I collect all the hats from every team, and I still have that hat.
He sent me my jersey, Mr. DePaulo, Mike DePaulo.
Yeah.
He sent me it, and he sent me Keenan's. That's also. Amazing. I actually spoke to Keenan over the weekend. Yeah.
Those jerseys were sick. It was the first year we got them.
Yeah.
They were legit jerseys.
Yep. Oh man,
that's
Timmy,
incredible.
I can't even thank you enough, man.
All right,
I know
good
you got a lot to do.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me. If you guys ever need anything else, just let me know. Especially now. I mean, I'm working out, and that's about it. So if you need me back on, let me know.
I need a few workouts.
I'll tell you what, Timmy, this virus has been a grind, man. When off season comes, the three of us were coming out to AZ. You got to show us a good time. We're gonna hit the link.
You ever been to Old Town Scottsdale? We'll go out down there.
Oh yeah.
No drinking though. No drinking.
No, none.
No.
None.
Just two-stepping. Let's put on our cowboy boots and two-step, baby.
All right. I'll see you guys. Thank you.
All right, guys. Timmy, thanks so much, man.
Thank you guys.
Timmy,
see you
thank
later.
you, man.
Thanks, brother.